জনবল্লভ গিরিবরধারী গোপীজনবল্লভ গিরিবরধারী যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজনরঞ্জন যশোদানন্দন ব্রজজনরঞ্জন যমুনা তীর বনচারী যমুনা তীর বনচারী জয় রাধা মাধব জয় কুঞ্জ বিহারী হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে হরে জয় রাধা গিরিধারী রাধে জয় জগন্নাথ জয় বলদেব জয় সুভদ্রা জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় গৌরনিতাই জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় প্রভুপাদ নিতাই গৌর হরি বল নিতাই গৌর হরি বল। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we'll first read today from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and after that we'll recite and discuss today one slok from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm sharing the screen first to read the Prabhupada Lilamrita. Just allow me a second. So today we are reading from Prabhupada Lilamrita, and it is volume 2, chapter 38, and the heading of this chapter is No One Listens to a Poor Man. Mr. N was a short, stocky man with a receding hairline. His hair was clipped short and his round face was pockmarked. He appeared to be in his 50s. Mrs. N had a fair complexion and unusual for an Indian, or her hair short. Prabhupada had brought flower garlands and prasadam from Radha Krishna deities of ISKCON Bombay, and these he offered to Mr. and Mrs. N. Mr. N invited his guest to sit with him and his wife on the front porch, which faced a picturesque garden. Srila Prabhupada openly expressed his appreciation of the Juhu land, but admitted he had very little money. Mr. N, however, seemed inclined toward Prabhupada and said he wanted to sell him the property. Quickly, they reached a verbal agreement. To Mrs. N, however, the agreement seemed too liberal. But when she objected, her husband overruled her. Prabhupada and Mr. N agreed on a down payment of 2 lakh rupees, and after making the down payment, ISKCON would immediately receive conveyance. ISKCON would pay the remaining balance of 14 lakh rupees later in regular installments. Prabhupada negotiated further regarding the down payments, offering to pay 50,000 rupees now and another 50,000 later, at which time ISKCON would be allowed to move into the land. As soon as they paid the remaining 100,000 rupees, the down payments would be complete and Mr. N would give them the deed. Mr. N agreed. Srila Prabhupada was always one to think carefully over such business transactions. He had said that if a businessman tells you, "Sir, for you I am making no profit," you should know he is lying. Therefore, even in ISKCON's early days in New York City, when the real estate shark and Mr. Price had posed as a well-wisher of the devotees, Prabhupada had been suspicious. Mr. Price had, in fact, cheated the devotees, despite Prabhupada's warning to them, and now, as then, Prabhupada was suspicious. But he wanted the Juhu land and would take the risk. Hare Krishna, I'm stopping here. So, Om Namo Bhagavate. Before that, I'm sharing the screen for the today's verse. And so, is this visible from your side?
It's visible, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Just Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vesam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Srinnatam Shakata Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridi Antasto Hi Avadrani Vidhunoti Shurit Shatam Nashto Praesho Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nushtiki. So today we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 6, Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse 27. And the heading of this canto, the creative impetus, and the heading of this chapter, the prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudvipa. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So, verse 27, Canto 5, Chapter 18. Yam lokopalaha kilo matsrachara hitva jatantopi pritak sametacha patum na shekur dipadaschatuspadah sharisripam stanu jadatra dishyate. Yam lokopalaha kilo matsrachara hitva jatantopi pritak sametacha patum na shekur dipadaschatuspadah sharisripam stanu jadatra dishyate. Yam lokopalaha kilo matsrajara hitta jatantopi prithak sametta cha patum na shekur dipadaschatuspadah sharisripam stanu jadatra dishyate. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, if anybody wants to chant the verse, you can chant now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother.
Hare Krishna. Yam lokapala kilo matshara jvara hitva yatantopi prithok sameta cha patum na shekurudvi padaschatuspadah shorisripam sthanu yad atra drishyate. Hare Krishna.
So any other devotees wants to recite it? Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
Okay, let me pronounce. Yamlokapala kilmatsara jvara hitva yatantopi prithak samitya cha patum nase khurdvipadas chatuspadah sari shripam sthanu yat atra drishyate. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you. Anybody else? Hare Krishna, then I am moving to the synonyms. Anybody wants to read the synonyms, please? Any of the devotees wants to read it, please? Can read
Hare
it.
Krishna, Prabhu. Can I please read?
Yes, please, Mataji.
Thank you.
Please continue, Mataji. Dandavata pranam.
Thank you, Dandavata pranam, Prabhu. Synonyms for Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yam, whom, you. Lokapalaha, the great leaders of the universe, beginning with Lord Brahma. Killer, what to speak of others. Matsara Jwaraha, who are suffering from the fever of envy. Hitva, leaving aside. Yatantaha, endeavoring. Api, although. Prithak, separately. Sametya, combined. Cha, also. Patum, to protect. Na, not. Shekho, able. Vipadaha, two-legged. Chatupadaha, four-legged. Sarishripam, reptiles. Sthanu, not moving. Yat, whatever. Atra, within this material world. Trishyate, is visible. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for reading out this. And any of the devotees can read the translation, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. May I read it?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, you can please read.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My Lord, from the great leaders of the universe, such as Lord Brahma and other demigods, down to the political leaders of this world, all are envious of your authority. Without your help, however, they could neither separately nor concertedly maintain the innumerable living entities within the universe. You are actually the only maintainer of all human beings, of animals like cows and ashes, and of plants, reptiles, birds, mountains, and whatever else is visible within this material world. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you for reading out the purport. And the purport, if any of the devotees can read, can please read out.
Hare Krishna, I will go for that.
Hare
It is fashionable for materialistic persons to compete with the power of God. When so-called scientists try to manufacture living entities in their laboratories, their only purpose is to defy the talent and ability of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called illusion. It exists even in the higher planetary systems where great demigods like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and others reside. In this world, everyone is puffed up with false prestige despite the failure of all his endeavors. When so-called philanthropists who supposedly want to help the poor are approached by members of the Krishna consciousness movement, they say, "You are simply wasting your time." While I am feeding vast masses of starving people, unfortunately, their meager efforts, either singly or together, do not solve anyone's problems. Sometimes so-called swamis are very eager to feed poor people, thinking them to be Doridra Narayan, the Lord's incarnations as beggars. They prefer to serve the manufactured Doridra Narayan than the original Supreme Narayan. They say, don't encourage service to Lord Narayan. It is better to serve the starving people of the world. Unfortunately, such materialists, either singly or combined in the form of United Nations, cannot fulfill their plans. The truth is that the many billions and millions of human beings, animals, birds, and trees, indeed, all living entities are maintained solely by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Eko bahunam yo vidodati kaman. One person, the Supreme Lord, is supplying the necessities of life for all other living entities. To challenge the authority of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the business of Asuras, demons. Yet, sometimes Shuras or devotees are also bewildered by the illusory energy and falsely claim to be the maintainer of the entire universe. Such incidents are described in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Shukdev Goswami tells how Lord Brahma and King Indra became puffed up and were eventually chastised by Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Loka Padamayam Dadatisha Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sriyata Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Savagana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sajivam Swadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Savagana Lulida Sri Pishakan Nitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Prabhupada Anugami Sri Shubha Goswamini Shoda Dainashili Shubhagaya Sarva Jiva Pripabdhe Guru Shiksha Shodachara Palokaya Namastute. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine. Namo Mahabadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurutishe Namo. Mukam karoti vachalam pongum lamhoyate giri yatkripatamaham vande paramanandamadam Guru Sri Guru Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. My Dandavat Pranam to you all. I welcome you all in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. Although I am not qualified, but I am still doing this service because I am been instructed to undertake this service, and it gives me an opportunity to purify myself. So I thank you all, the devotees here today, and beg for your mercy. Please bless me so that I can contribute something positive in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON, and my Guru Maharaj for preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to properly glorify Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now coming to the brief background of this verse. In this chapter, we see that Shukdev Goswami is describing the different borshos of the Jambudvipa and the incarnation of the Supreme Lord worshipped in each. And we all know that according to Vedic cosmology, there are 14 planetary systems, and the Earth or the Bhurloka or Earth planet is in the middle, and there are 6 at the top and 7 below. So in all, there are 14 planetary systems. And in the topmost one is Satyaloka or the Brahmaloko, and then Tapoloko, Janaloko, Maharloko, Sarvaloko, Bhuvarloko, and then Bhuloko or the Earth planet. And below Earth there are Atol, Bitol, Shutol, Talatol, Mahatol, Rasatol, and Patal. These are the 7, seven below planets. And we all know that in the topmost planetary system, and the topmost planets and in the higher planetary system, the status of for the residents or the facilities available to them are thousands and thousands times better than this lower planetary system. But we'll now discuss here the different borshos of the Jambudvipa within the Earth planet. These are situated on the 7 islands and in 9 condos or sections. Now, within the universe, the Lord is within this, this universe, the Lord is situated in different spiritual manifestations, and the Lord's pastimes are going on. And the 7 islands are, by their name, is Jambu, Deep, Shako, Shalomoli, then Kusho, Kroncho, Gomedo, and Pushkaro. These are the 7 islands, and or the depots, and they are depots is just like in the ocean. We see in the ocean, the deeps are surrounded by the water, but in the planet these planets are in the outer space, covered by air. So just like water, it is it is an ocean in the air, in the outer space. So and a valley or the condo is a two mount in between the land between the 2 mountains. They are called condo or borsho. And there are 9 condos, or as mentioned earlier, that is Bharato, Kinnaro, Hori, Kuru, Hiranmoy, Ramyako, Ilabrato, Bhadrasho, and Ketumala. And these are the different parts of the Jambudvipa. Now, in verse 24 to 28, we are reading 27. We have reading 27. In this 24 to 28 of this chapter, Shukdev Goswami is describing about the tract of land known as Ramya Borsho, where Vaivasvata Manu rules. And we know that soon after the cosmic creation, the entire universe was inundated with water. And at that time, Lord Krishna, Keshava, incarnated as a gigantic fish, as Lord Matsya or Matsya Avatar, to protect the Vedas at the end of the last Manvantar era, Chakshusha Manvantar. It is mentioned, I think, in 24th verse. And Vaivasvata Manu is now worshipping Lord Matsya in the devotional service. So Matsya Avatar, Matsya Deva, we must remember one thing here, that this fish is not like any other ordinary fish. It is the Lord himself. So he is in the form of pure goodness. His body is transcendental, in spite of the fact that he has taken the shape of a fish. Generally, the fish is a representation of the mode of ignorance. And but here it is not the case, because it is the Lord, Supreme Lord, and and the Lord is whatever form Lord takes, whether as a small child, as small child, or as a fish, or as a tortoise, or as a boar, or whatever it is, the Lord is transcendental, and his form is not material, and it is not contaminated by any ways by any of the material modes of nature. We have to understand that. And sometimes this mistake often happens to the Brahmas also. It happened to Brahma, it happens to Indra. They took it to the Lord as an ordinary person. So we will, when we come to we'll discuss it later also. Now, in this regard, I thought that maybe for a couple of minutes, we can discuss about the creation. The Manvantara is mentioned here, because previously it was Chakshusha Manvantara, and at the moment it is Vaivasvata Manu going on. A few words, and in a few minutes I'm trying to discuss on that one, and then we'll revert back to the verses, actual verses, purport of this verse. Now, we know there are 4 yugas, that is, presently it is Kali Yuga, and before that it was Dapur Yuga, and earlier it was Treta Yuga, even earlier it was Sattva Yuga. So there are 4 yugas, and 4 yugas, and these 4 yugas together is called Dibba Yuga. And Kali Yuga is 432,000 years, the solar years, and Dapur Yuga is double of that, it's 864, and Treta Yuga is triple of that, that is 1296,000 years, and Sattva Yuga is 4 times of that, that is 1728,000. So this Chatur Yugas, or together is for when added together, 432,000 into 4 plus 2, 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, when added together is 10. That means 4.32 million years. And this Chatur Yuga, 71 sub Chatur Yugas make one Manvantar. So one Manvantar means 71 such Chatur Yugas. And these 14 Manvantars make one day of Brahma, or the 12 Brahma has a day of 12 hours, and 12 hours is night. So this 12 hours of Brahma is 71 Manvantar. And currently it is Vaivasvata Manvantar. At the present moment, what is going on is Vaivasvata Manvantar, and the 20 and because 7 has already 14, there are 14 Manus. That as I've told, it makes, or there are 14 Manus, and these 14, 7 has already gone. The 7th is Vaivasvata Manu, and at the end of and in this Vaivasvata Manu period, at the age of Dapur Yuga, Lord Krishna comes. So in a cycle of in this way, when the cycle goes on, because the creation, it is created and it is maintained and then destroyed. In this way it goes on, and on the 7th Vaivasvata Manu's time, Lord appears in the Dapur Yuga. Lord Krishna appears in Vrindavan along with all his paraphernalia. And similarly, at the Kali Yuga of that age, of this Vaivasvata Manu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in the Kali Yuga. So we are fortunate in that way that we had, of course, although it is 5,000 years ago, more than 5,000 years ago, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu more than 540 or something like that years. So that we are still very close to that, when the Lord came to this earth. So we are that way a bit fortunate. And this knowledge, I mean, this how it happens, and this is given how the cycle goes on, is given in the Surya Siddhanta. There is a Sanskrit book called Surya Siddhanta, and this Surya Siddhanta, one of our acharyas in our discipline section, discipline succession, had thoroughly studied it, and and I think most of you know that. If you do not know, just to let you know that with Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, he was an expert in studying this Surya Siddhanta, and after studying it, he has translated into Bengali. And when he did that, in recognition of his knowledge, he was given the knowledge Siddhanta Saraswati. Siddhanta Saraswati, because Surya Siddhanta he has translated into Bengali. He is given the name Siddhanta Saraswati, and subsequently when he takes sannyas, he was given the name Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So this is a simple background of this is what is I had to talk about this thing. And now coming to the actual purport of this verse, which Prabhupada has told in the beginning, in the very beginning of the verse, if we read it out, and it has been read out in just a couple of minutes earlier. So people are envious of Krishna, that he is telling from the highest, even the Lokopalos, that means the great leaders of who are maintaining this world, they, and not to speak of the ordinary people, they are envious of Krishna, although Krishna is the real maintainer. And in fact, it is we see it is in this material world, it is fashionable now for materialistic people to compete with the power of the Lord. If we look at as Prabhupada is given the indication of scientific people, whatever they are doing, I mean, they are trying to create an impression to the common man that the gods, they are challenging the authority of the Lord, and thinking that they are powerful, and the Lord has not much relevance in the present day when the scientific discoveries are happening like that. But and it is also a fact that we see clearly that as the material civilization progresses, this concept is getting more and more predominant among the common mass of people nowadays. And most of the people nowadays have no knowledge about the Supreme Lord, nor they have much interest also in knowing the Lord. They think that Lord is like, and some people, I mean, if you look around, I mean, not to the devotees I'm talking about, but the common people, if you look around, then you will see they think that Lord is like any other ordinary person. Maybe he has some qualities better than us. He is able to solve some problems, but they have not much real knowledge about the Lord, and their knowledge is mostly whimsical and speculative ideas, based on speculative ideas. Not only that, unfortunately, this is the common man. Now, unfortunately, there are also spiritual leaders who preach irreligious things as religion, so they are even more confused. And other than that, common man, they have no knowledge of the Lord. There are fake spiritual leaders who tries to speak, who speaks about the Lord without irreligion as religion. And there are also the transcendentalists who are really pursuing devotional. I mean, they are interested in studying the Lord, but their knowledge is also incomplete. As a result of that, they have no perfect knowledge or the Sambandha Gyan about the Lord. That means they do not know the exact relationship between the Lord and the living being. As a result also, whatever they preach or they try to say in the philosophy is also incomplete. As a result of that, they want to take people away from the Lord. The Gyanis, in particular, Prabhupada is often told, their knowledge, because of their incomplete knowledge, they take away the people from the Lord, because their desire, they desire to get out of the sufferings. They know that the material world is a place of suffering, but because their knowledge is incomplete, They only want to merge with the Brahman to get rid of the Shayujya Mukti, it is also called. They want to do that, and as a result, they do not get the bhakti. They do not get the bhakti and takes one people away from the Lord. So bhakti remains always away from the Gyanis unless they surrender to the Lord subsequently. Of course, in Bhagavad Gita, it is 7:19, it is very clearly written, Bhunam Janamante Gyanavan Mam Prabuddhate. So Vasudeva Sarvamiti Shamahatma Sudurlavo. So they finally come to the point, but after many, many lives, they come to that. So they delay their, I mean, in the process, they get delayed. And so what is the point of unnecessarily losing time on that? But this is not happening for a devotee, because he knows, just as the Gyanis do, what Prabhupada has one place has given an example, that just like honey is there in a bottle, but the Gyanis, they try to know the Lord by argument, and in this way, they remain always outside the glass and try to taste it, but that's why they cannot get the taste of the honey, because it is inside. So you have to open it and you have to enjoy, I mean, you have to personally enjoy it. So that is why they remain always perpetually away from the Lord. But the devotees of the Lord, by serving the Lord personally, can enjoy the bliss, and as a result, they can enjoy the nectar of love, Krishna Prem as well. So the path of this self-realization, or the path of knowing the Lord, is described in Bhagavad Gita, and the basic principle of self-realization is the knowledge that living entity is not the material body. I mean, the material body we have got, but this is not our real identity. But our real identity is the spirit soul. As a result, the happiness, our happiness, the human happiness, real happiness, lies in eternal life, bliss, and knowledge about the Lord, and not in this material sense enjoyment. Material sense enjoyment is not the goal of human life, and that is the transcendental knowledge. And this transcendental knowledge, if you want to know the Lord, you have to go beyond this body and the mind, because they are part of the material body, the subtle body and gross body. But we have to go beyond that, at the soul level, only that. And generally, self-realization is generally sought by the path of knowledge, as we have tried to say. We have said a few words about knowledge, but by the practice of an eightfold yoga system, or Ashtanga yoga, or by bhakti yoga. And in each of these, one has to realize really the constitutional position of the real living entity, his relationship with the God, I mean, the activities, how we can establish our lost link and achieve the highest perfectional stage with Lord Krishna, or that is called Krishna consciousness. And when we follow any of the methods perfectly, and we come sooner or later, of course, the other will virtually go to the bhakti mode, bhakti yoga at a later stage. But in any of the process one starts, they ultimately reach to the goal. They can reach the goal. And this was asserted in the second chapter, that in the Bhagavad Gita, in 240, it is clearly written, anybody who does any transcendental service, that is never lost, that remains in his credit, and he, in his next life, he can start with that. So this devotional service, or the effort, endeavor given in a devotional service, is never lost, because it is the method of realizing the God, so direct method of God realization. Now, in this material world, as we have just told, Prabhupada has mentioned in the started with the verse that everyone is envious of one else, and what is the reason for that? As a result, I mean, we see around that there is stiff competition going on. The root cause, what is the root cause of that? The root cause, if we investigate properly, is the envy, the root cause of the envy. That means why one hates the other, is that everyone tries to enjoy independently. and he doesn't want anybody to be an obstacle on that. He thinks that he is independent and he can, by his own effort, he can enjoy the things and without interference of the others. So that's why there is always a competition. Everyone tries to do that way. But because they are ignorant of the transcendental knowledge, they do not know that the real ownership of the things lies with the Lord, and that is the root cause of this problem. The root cause is that they do not have the proper knowledge that everything belongs to the Lord, and the Lord has given each one a quota or a amount to enjoy for themselves. According to as sanctioned by the Lord. And if one is satisfied with that, he remains happy. But most of the people do not understand that. And as ignorance of this knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and particularly under the mode of three modes of material nature, they think that by their own effort they can do the things and they will be successful on that. But it is very clearly written in Bhagavad Gita. One carefully studied this in third chapter in Karma Yoga, and verse number 327. It is written, Prakrite kriya manani gunoi karmani sarvasah ahankaro vimuratta kartahamiti mannate. That means the person in material consciousness, I was trying to explain that because under the mode of material nature, he is thinking he is the owner, he is doing the things. But this is because of the mode a person is put in this material world, and depending on the mode, he is doing his effort, and he is given the benefit by the Lord. Unless the Lord gives it, no one can independently do it. And he does not know the mechanism of the body also. The material nature, whatever he is doing has been sanctioned by the material nature, and whatever he is doing, the supervision is also done by the Lord. And because Maya Dakshan, but the Lord is in control of the things, and material nature, by the operation of the laws of material nature, it is working. But a person who has no transcendental knowledge, he doesn't understand that. He thinks he is in control and he can do, but to defy the authority of the Lord is really a demoniac attitude, because challenge. This is called Shuro and Ashura. One who accepts the authority of the Lord and acts accordingly, he is called Shuro, or the Daiva qualities. And those who defy the order of the Lord, they are called Ashuro. They think that they are themselves are the owner of the thing. Whatever the things are being done, they want to take the credit, and in this way they get themselves involved in the cycle of in the karma kando, and their results and activity. They have more desire. In this way, more and more they get entangled and remains in the perpetual cycle of birth and death, because whatever one's desires, he has to at the time of leaving his body, he thinks of that and he gets a similar body, and he is given the opportunity by the Lord to fulfill that desire. In this way, life after life, one remains in the perpetual cycle of birth and death, and one life after another he is getting, but never getting out of the, as Shankaracharya has told, Punaropi jananam, punaropi maranam, punaropi janari jatare shayanam, iha samsare, something like that. He is telling that in this way he is remaining in the cycle of birth and death. Iha samsare mahadustare, kripaya pari, something like that. Kipaya pare pahimurare. This is what he's requesting the Lord to save one from that. But if we have that desire, that means we understand that we are entangled in this material world, and we are struggling for that. Only then the urge to get out of this comes. And in fact, when one remains in this material world, life after life, he gets entangled, and he gets entangled and remain in the material cycle. And that's why the senses are really senses, and the mind involves them in this cycle of Karmakanda. And in third again in Karma Yoga, in third chapter also, Arjuna has asked Lord Sri Krishna, when he's asking about various things, he has asked about why sometimes we see that people are compelled by force to do sinful activities, even though he is unwilling to do. So Sri Krishna replied in the next verse, that in 37 it says that a living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme and is originally spiritual, but free from material and contamination. But then is not in other words, he is not subjected to sin of this material world. But when he is in contact, when this soul comes in contact with this material nature, this love for God, which he has, he came from the spiritual world, so he knows. I mean, a transcendental soul knows that his relationship with the Lord, but he forgets that, and as a result of forgetting that, the love for God is transformed into lust. Lust means sense, desire to enjoy, sense enjoyment, and lust is the root cause of this envy. He is forced to act due to the lust, and Arjuna was told that lust, a material mode of passion, this lust, and when coupled with the material mode of passion, is transformed into wrath, or the envy, and which is all devouring for sinful enemy of the Lord. Sinful activities in this material world. And when a living entity comes to the the love for Krishna is transformed into lust. And it is also explained in, I think, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. I think chapter, it is 262, 63, yes. When contemplating on sense object, when has a desire for sense enjoyment, that when senses comes in contact with sense sense objects, there is a desire to enjoy them, and and it develops an attachment for them. And when one has that attachment, he tries to get it, and a lust develops out of that. When attachment is small, he can ignore it. But when the attachment is more, that means there is a great desire to enjoy, that becomes a lust. And lust, when unfulfilled, it becomes anger. And from anger, delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderness, memory. And in this way, when memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down to the material pool again. And in this way, the lust for material enjoyment, when it is unsatisfied, it turns into envy. It turns into anger, and due to anger, one becomes envious. And he remains in illusion, and in this way, he brings his own downfall. Therefore, the greatest enemy of a living entity is the lust. And because of that, a pure living entity, or a pure soul, which was due to serve the Lord in its original situation, is entangled in material world and remains in this perpetual, and because of his ignorance, remains in this mode, and try to envious of others, including the God. And when forgetting our relationship with the Lord, when we forget our relationship with the Lord, that is the cause of our downfall. And it happens, and we must remember that because the modes are there operative in the material situation, it doesn't matter who is the person. He is never free from this material mode. Even the example is given in this Prabhupada. He has told about Indra and Brahma. We know the Bimohan Lila, Brahma Bimohan Lila. Well, Brahma was also illusion. He also thought that the Lord was as a friend. He was playing with his friends, and he was taking food from others' plates, and he was eating himself, and others were giving their own partly taken food to the Lord, and the Lord was enjoying playing with them. Brahma got a illusion and thought that he cannot be the Supreme Lord, whom so many people are trying hard to get, and throughout their life they cannot get it. But how it is that he is a small boy is doing on this? Is he the Supreme Lord? So he is also put into illusion. It is because of the mode, because no matter who is the person, a person is whoever is in the mode of in these three modes of material nature is subjected to this illusion. Maybe depending on how, I mean, to extent of illusion is there. I mean, it may be in a particular time, and for us, all the time it is, depending on which mood one is. In a similar way, Indra also, we have seen in Govardhan mountain. I mean, he was. I mean, the residents of Broja were not. Krishna told them not to worship Indra again. He got angry, and put incessant rain on the inhabitants of Brajavabhumi. But Krishna saved them. What I mean by that they are also subject to illusion. They are also subject to illusion at a particular point. Of course, subsequently he prayed to the Lord, and Lord forgiven him. But that mode of ignorance is bound to happen when the people remains in the three modes of material nature. So the best way to get rid of it is to engage the senses in the service of the Lord. And in this way, one can be free from the three modes, and only by being free from the modes of material nature we can become pure of our senses can become pure, and we can serve the Lord better. That's why in chapter 14 of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna has asked Sri Krishna how it is possible to get rid of these modes of material nature and get rid of these modes of material nature. And Sri Krishna has told him that one who is without any other one-pointed attention, one who is serving the Lord, he can get rid of the modes of material nature, and in this way he can be freed from the modes of material nature. Mam Abhay Charan bhakti yogena sevote sagunan samititvitan brahma bhoya kalpote. Only by serving the Lord one can purify from the modes of material nature, and in this way one can free from the modes of material nature. In this way he can purify himself, his senses, and can serve the Lord properly, and in this way he can purify himself and remains in the proper situation. Otherwise the envy will come if we remain in the mode of material contamination. And so Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has very clearly stated that there are the five things we should, for devotional service in particular, to do the devotional service, one has to do. There are 9 ways of devotional service, and the process is given. And Prahlad Maharaj says, Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padoshevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasham Shakhyam Atmanibodhan. These are the 9 methods of devotional service. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told within this that also, that he has told there are certain other things. 5 is very important, and that is Satsanga, to remain in association with devotees. So when we associate with the devotees of the Lord are engaged in the service of the Lord. So when we associate with the devotees, our consciousness is rightly placed, because they are serving the devotees. So our Krishna, in fact, Krishna's consciousness is told it is within. It is everyone's mind, the love for Krishna is there. But unfortunately, because of our contaminated senses and material contamination, it is not manifested, it is being manifested. Our Bhakti Lata Bridge remains inside in a dormant manner. But when we associate with the devotees, then this seed of Bhakti Lata that sprouts at the time in association with the devotees and serving the devotees and the Krishna. Lord, when we serve the Krishna and along with other, when the devotees are serving the Lord, and we do that also, we understand what we are doing, and if it is doing correctly or if not, they can help us. And in this way, we can purify ourselves. And in this way, the process we are gradually approaching the Lord in a from pure to pure, from less pure to the purer stage, and in this way ultimately we can make ourselves absolutely pure when we serve the Lord in a pure way. By connecting with the Lord, all the good qualities of the transcendental qualities are manifested in the devotees. And that's why it is told that when a devotee has the same qualities as the Lord, when he becomes pure devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is told Satsanga, Krishna Seva, Bhagavad Dham, Nam, ব্রজে বাসে এই পঞ্চ সাধন প্রধান। এই পঞ্চমধ্যে এক স্বল্প যদি হয় সুবুদ্ধি জনের হয় কৃষ্ণ প্রেমোদয়। It is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 24, and verse number 194 and 193 and 94. And in English, if it is translated as, to be elevated to the platform of devotional service, the following 5 items should be observed: association with devotees, engagement in the service of the Lord Krishna, the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, the chanting of the holy names, and residence at Vrindavan or Mathura. One's dormant love for Krishna gradually awakens, and one is little advanced in one of these 5 items and is intelligent. And if one is a little advanced in one of these 5 items and is intelligent, that means if we do any of this properly, then we become very intelligent, and Lord gives us ultimately the Dadami Buddhi Yogam. The Lord gives us the intelligence by which we can go to the Lord. So we should always, that is why Prabhupada has created International Society of Krishna Consciousness, so that the people or the devotees can associate themselves and get the ways from and help each other by for preaching the glories of the Lord, and in this way they can purify themselves and ultimately go back to the Godhead. So it is our responsibility as a participants in this movement to propagate the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. পৃথিবীতে আছে যত নগরাদি গ্রাম সর্বত্র প্রচার হইবে মোর নাম, to spread the message of Krishna consciousness to each and every places, and wherever there is an opportunity, we should preach it and tell people that about the importance of associating with the Lord or remembering the Lord, so that we can purify ourselves, and ultimately when the spiritual knowledge, bhakti comes in our mind, we can become pure and ultimately can go back to Godhead. So with this, I'm concluding this verse, and if anybody has any question, any observation, any mistakes I have committed, please point out, and any other comments, please do that. I'm happy to hear from all of you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Anybody has any question or any realization or any? Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very
Okay.
much for the wonderful class. I'm in India at the moment, but I think Parjanya Prabhu's there online. But I think if nobody has any questions, we'll ask. Does anybody have any questions or comments tonight?
No, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, it appears there's no other person to make any comments, so we can conclude the class now in that case.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. It was a wonderful class, and particularly about the illusion and engaging in the service of the Lord to get out of the illusion and particularly the three modes of material nature. So it's a timely reminder, actually, that we can always very easily fall into the illusion, and that we should always engage in the service of the Lord as much as we can, and that sense gratification is not the purpose of life. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for that. It's interesting how we always, I shouldn't say we, but I always forget very easily. And it's always good to have a timely reminder. Sometimes the knowledge is there, but it's just that we need to be reminded all the time because we keep forgetting. And thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's the Srimad Bhagavatam class is so important and very nice to have the association of all the devotees. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
One chakal paturubhyascha kripa sindhu
His Grace Abhay Charan Prabhu ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.